Hey everybody, in today's episode, it's myself and Benjamin B. It is January 1st, 2025. I can't even believe it. In this episode, we're getting a little vulnerable. Ben's talking about some things that he's going to be doing for the year of 2025, and it's pretty interesting. He talks about some of the areas that he's been lacking in and some improvements that he wants to make, and myself, same exact thing. So this episode, we're being vulnerable. We're talking about the things that we want to accomplish in the year 2025, and yeah, that's it. You're going to love this. Enjoy the show. Here we are, Real Recovery Talk. I am your host, Tom Conrad. In today's episode, we've got Benjamin B.
What's happening, everyone?
First things first, thank you for tuning in on the podcast app, whichever one that you choose to use, and thank you for watching on YouTube. In the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could always reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. Again, that's info@realrecoverytalk.com. And ultimately, we want to help you turn your mess into your message, right, Ben?
Yes, sir.
It's January 1st, Benjamin. How do you feel about that?
This is an honest program, Tom.
It's December 30th, but this is going out on January 1st. So we need to pretend like it's January 1st.
Happy New Year's, Tom.
Happy New Year, Ben. 2025. And if you didn't know, I was toasting to 2025 with my LaCroix Pamplemousse.
Yeah, what is a pamplemousse, by the way?
I guess it's grapefruit.
Oh, really? It's another word for grapefruit?
Maybe French for grapefruit.
Remember when grapefruit was like a big fad for fat loss?
No.
No?
Like
there's some...
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, everyone would start their day off with a half a grapefruit.
Yeah, and like apple cider vinegar and you know, aloe, maybe some aloe urine.
Yeah, and then avocados made a big appearance for a few years. They're kind of like fading out.
For weight loss?
Not for weight loss, just in general. Trendy.
They're gross.
I love them.
Well, of course you do, because that's all you eat.
Dude,
eat the same things every day.
They're refreshing.
Yeah. Well, so in the spirit of it being 2025, just so you are aware, on Monday, January 6th, we start the Big Book study.
Yes, sir.
You excited for that, Ben?
I am. It's honestly, it's going to be so freaking valuable.
Yeah.
Like it's one of these things where if people haven't heard the way that it's going to be expressed, like you just don't even you don't even know what you're missing yet. You have to experience it. I don't know what else to say. I could sit here and build it up and blah 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 blah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think when somebody actually sits down and listens, they're going to be like, "Whoa." Yeah.
No, I'm excited, and I know Eric is more excited. Eric is like chomping at the bit, ready for this.
Yeah,
you know? Every time I talk to him, he has like a new idea or something that he wants to do with it. So I'm excited for that. It's January 6th, 5:00 sharp. We're starting. We have close to 100 people that's registered for it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't registered, go to realrecoverytalk.com/big book study. Okay, go there. And all you got to do is put your email in, and we'll send you all the directions on what to do. And it's every Monday moving forward until we're done. I don't know how long it's going to take. I do think, though, it's going to take a long time. Months.
I imagine it will, for sure.
Yeah. So, again, realrecoverytalk.com/big book study to register. So, 2024... What were you going to say?
So you're going to be nerding out on the Big Book.
Well, at first I'm going to be nerding out on making sure I don't screw up any of the technical stuff. Because I've never done anything like this before, you know? So we're going to have 100 people on a Zoom call, you know? I'll have to, I got to figure out everything.
So I was like bridging that into like, I think we can have a discussion here, Tom.
Oh, okay.
About 2025.
Sure.
Ending 2024, rolling into 2025. I was saying like, you're nerding out. You know, I got called out the other day for not appearing to nerd out in AA anymore.
Who called you out?
So I went and I had breakfast. You remember Tim Roberto?
No.
So he went to school with us. He was in our classes at Palm Beach State at the addictions program.
No, I don't remember.
And I had breakfast with him, and Destiny was there. And Tim, he's like, dude, he's hardcore AA all the way, you know. And he's like, how many meetings you go to? What's your home group? And I'm like, and Destiny just looks over and goes, well, his program kind of sucks right now. I was like, ooh, but I see Tom's face. But
I'm gonna have fun with this.
Yeah, no, I know. So, you know, I'm reflecting like back and like, you know, obviously the shot back is like, oh, sounds like you're justifying. But hear me out real quick, man. So, admittedly, I've been going to definitely less meetings. I still have a sponsee that I'm actively in the middle of doing steps 4 and 5 with, meeting up with every week. So it's not like I've completely stepped away. However, like dude, just celebrated 14 years.
Oh, when was that?
The 8th. We breezed by it.
You're such a dumbass.
So, anyway, point is like, you know, and going back for anybody that's been listening, you know, I've had major life changes since April, you know, got out of a really long-term relationship. And like, there's always been suggestions people have been giving me forever. You know, even you, dude, have been like, you've referred to me like as the rescuer all the time. Ben has to make sure everybody's okay.
Yep.
Right. So I kind of look at it like, you know, we talk about balance all the time, and I don't think there's such thing as balance. You got to readjust. And I've had the open-mindedness, I guess, and willingness to start like working interpersonally on things that I've probably ignored for years. A lot of people would refer to it as self-care, if you will. Like, I'm just always like, the last 14 years of my sobriety has been help other people. Like step 12. And I've really been making an effort to get outside my comfort zone and change some things about myself for better quality of life for me, to be straight up.
Well, you were at a point where it was almost diminishing return, I feel. Like if you look at the last 14 years of your sobriety, which I've been a part of the majority of that, you have been the type of person that would always do for others and then kind of put yourself on the back burner. And that you eventually get to a point where it's diminishing return. You no longer, it doesn't serve you in the way that it used to serve you, I'm assuming.
To an extent, yes. Do I still need it in my life? 100%.
Sure.
But I don't think, like my early recovery, dude, I was sponsoring, meeting up with the sponsee every night. Like, dude, but that's what I needed to be doing. I needed to be all in. And don't get me wrong, like recovery still has to come first. But kind of what I was explaining to Tim and to Destiny and because other people have said it to me too. Like they've been teasing me, you know, Buckets chimed in and stuff like that. So, but I'm like, look, guys, there's been all these suggestions everyone's been giving me for years. And now I'm actually taking the time and effort to work on it. It's not like I can just fit that in extra. Ooh, let me create this extra time in my schedule to do these things and still be able to keep up with all the meetings, service work that I was doing before. Like, there's got to be a give and take. You see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, just to give tangible, I started seeing a therapist. I haven't done that since treatment, dude. And, well, I mean, there's been like, nothing that I would consider like I did and stuck to, if you will.
Right.
I may have like popped in for a minute, but two things that really jumped out to me that this therapist, like, took me a couple weeks to like get into action. But she said to me, she's like, Ben, don't help people that don't ask for help. Because I was explaining to her kind of like, dude, I'm like pouring from an empty cup. And so I started really consciously like stepping back and waiting for people to ask for help. And it's really helped me, dude.
Versus offering it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was always offering to help people.
That's interesting.
Which I think people appreciate and love me for, but at the same time, like, then when I get grumpy,
it turns to a point where, because you were that way for so long, it's almost expected.
Yes, it became an expectation of other people for sure. And honestly, there's been some people in my life that have kind of like faded out a little bit because I started to realize that I was all on the giving side.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't getting anything in return. Not that I'm looking selfishly, like everybody I help, I need to get something in return. That's not what but how much energy was I putting in that could be utilized somewhere else?
Yeah.
And still beneficial.
Well, part of this whole recovery thing is selfish. And even if we don't realize it, hence the 12 step. I mean, really, you're helping other alcoholics, but there is everybody, if you ask anybody that has any form of sobriety that has gone through the 12 steps, that has had sponsees, that have helped other people get sober, it's very common knowledge that the whole idea behind having a sponsee, it's not so much you helping them. I mean, it is, but they help you just as much in return. More, and they don't even know they're doing that. They don't even know that's one of the main purposes behind it is because what does that do? It creates accountability. It hopefully prevents you from being some sort of hypocrite. You can't make a suggestion to a sponsee, hey, I want you to do, or I think you should do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not doing X, Y, and Z myself, and that has to affect people in a way that isn't good. I think that it's funny. We're doing this episode now, and it's January 1st, and the episode that I just released was all on this, like the things that me personally that I want to focus on in 2025, and one of them is self-care and the therapeutic aspect of it. Like, I do see my therapist, but sometimes it's like begrudgingly. Begrudgingly
is, you said it right the first time.
It's like, he sends me a Zoom link and I'm like, ugh, I forgot this was coming. And it's like, I don't want to waste the money, so I'll just get on and say what I need to say and just kind of burn through the hour, just to make it feel like I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
Like a large part of 2024 was that, and then once that session ended, it's like I would forget what he said almost in one ear out the other. So I want to make like an actual, and a lot of it is marriage focused, for me. I want to make a more of an effort to actually take what he says, put it into practice, and do the things that he says. And I've been seeing this guy for 5 years. I mean, it got to a point where I just said, can't we just be friends? But he has good.
You know what the other thing the therapist said to me? So there was the two things. The one was, what did I just say it was?
Don't help somebody unless they ask.
Yeah. Don't help someone unless they ask. The other one was, after talking to her for a while, she's like, what I pick up from you is a sense of never being enough or good enough or accomplishing enough. And I think that's a really common theme probably for everybody. But she said to me, she's like, Ben, for a second, think logically. Look at everything that you've accomplished on a logical level and tell me how you can look at yourself and say you haven't done enough to this point. I mean, dude, just 14 years ago, I was sticking a needle in my arm 50 times a day.
Was it really that much?
If I was shooting crack, yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, when you're doing opiates, you could probably do about 10 a day.
Yeah.
But start doing those uppers.
Look out.
Yeah. It's every few minutes.
Well, that's something that a lot of people suffer from. I mean, it's, it's common to not feel, but a lot of that roots back in, I'm not a therapist and I don't even like pretending like I know a lot when it comes to therapy, but a lot of that stuff is rooted in childhood stuff, but she's exactly right. Look at all the things that you have accomplished over the last 14 years. It's unrealistic thinking. And I think we do that a lot. We beat ourselves up. And somebody said to me one time, Tom, would you talk to your best friend the way that you talk to yourself? And it's like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't just come out and call you a fucking idiot, I mean,
you'd say it in a more polite way.
I would, but like in a joking, polite manner. But, sometimes I say that stuff to myself. And for me, I beat myself up more with my kids than I do in any other area of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I beat myself up and I get that feeling of I'm not doing enough or I haven't accomplished enough, it's with my kids. Like I beat myself up about with Levi, we have a great relationship, but it's like it's just me and him. We're the only men in the house, and then I got my 2 daughters and my wife and 2 female dogs. It's like females everywhere. So I feel like I hold Levi up to this standard that he's not meeting, but he's going to be 9 years old. And there's been friction there, Sometimes we're like oil and vinegar. And so I'll beat myself up there and say I'm not doing enough, to raise my son in a way that, like I don't want him growing up and then telling his friends that his dad was just a total asshole. You know what I mean?
God, dude, we're the same person.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting, since you're bringing it up, I'll give you a little therapy now.
Okay.
One thing that I've done, and I know now, looking back, is that because you mentioned Levi being 9, I always failed to realize how young they were.
Yeah.
That is tough as a father. Like my expectations of what they should be doing, how they should be behaving, like, what are you thinking? And then what made me come to that realization, dude, is like looking back at pictures in my phone, the memories come up and you're like, oh my God, he was so little.
Right.
And then I think back to like, dude, I yelled at him about this or about that. And I'm like, he was tiny.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, and it's weird, bro.
It's depressing is what it is.
Yeah.
Going and seeing how, yeah.
But that's morbid reflection. Shoulda, woulda, coulda attitude.
Right.
And you can't fall into that in recovery either.
Yeah. What do we do moving forward? That's something I need to add to my 2025 list. It's like working with my kids better.
Yeah.
I've
been having a kind of a hard time with that because so I've been more for me like venturing out a little bit more, like being Tom's laughing. For example, I'm going somewhere with this. Don't worry. I went to Miami this weekend. I got a hotel. I went to Miami. I went to a concert. But my mom called me on the way down there, and she posted. She told me, she's like, "Hey, don't post too much stuff on there that looks like you're having too much fun on social media because we don't want Weston to feel like you've like abandoned him, because my kids are going through changes right now too, where like they're with me, they're with mom, but like I don't want it to look like I need to have fun and take care of myself and stuff like that? Yeah, but there's always this like, ooh, I see my mom's point. I don't want him to feel left out, like, oh, I could have brought him with me or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, though. I mean, me personally.
I had a feeling, and that's why I brought it up with you sitting here.
Yeah, I would have been like, because again, that falls back into that's your go-to. You're protecting your relationship with Weston and your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna do you not posting on social media the concert and all that stuff and the fun that you had. The only reason that you would do that is to protect Weston's emotional well-being.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like, no, I'm here. I'm 40 years old. If I want to post about a concert that I'm at and show people the fun that I'm having, I'm going to do it.
I want to point something out real quick for the listeners. This ties into the whole theme here. This is the importance of having good people in your life. Like, we're having a legitimate... I feel like we're not recording right now, which I always do at this point. We don't even realize the microphones are in front of our face anymore. But, like, for me, having good men in my life. Like, Tom and I have conversations like this all the time. We just happen to be recording it right now. And I think, too, like, women need strong women in their life.
Yeah.
Where they, because getting different perspectives and sharing stuff like that, like, going back to, like, not beating myself up, because I don't think Tom's wrong either. Like, I see my mom's point, but I also see what Tom's saying too, and it's like, maybe I don't need to beat myself up for this.
Well, and I think if I'm in your mom's head for a second, she calls you and tells you that because she knows that's the type of person that you are. Like, if she calls you and says, "Hey Ben, I don't think you should post too much about, show too much fun that you're having in Miami because, I don't want Weston to feel abandoned." She knows full damn well that you'll take that, you'll hear that, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And then not do it. You'll not post.
That's true.
So it plays right into one of your, I guess we can call it a character defect. But again, it's putting, and this is a very, it's social media. Who cares in the end? But you're putting your own emotional well-being on the back burner for somebody else by not posting on social media.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that you get your emotional, fulfillment through posting. I can care less that you didn't post. It's no big deal. And everybody else that would see it would care less, probably. Yep. And Weston would probably care less.
That's true. That's true. You know what, though, too, on the other end of this, like another good example, I would have... When's the last time you've known me to go to, like, a concert or a show?
Hang on. I'm trying to think of one if we ever went to one together, but that Slipknot, and you didn't go to that. Nick went and stood there like a stop sign the whole time.
Point is, dude, the reason I bring that up is because I thought about that too. I'm like, the old me would literally been like, no, I can't go do that. I got to meet with the sponsee this weekend.
Right.
Like, legit. That's what I've done the last 14 years. And I'm like, for me to actually get a hotel out of town and do something like that is way outside my norm. And that's what I'm trying, dude, and that's where I'm going with this whole thing. Like, I'm trying to do some stuff different in 2025.
Did you enjoy it?
I had fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely had fun.
The thing that we have to always be careful of, people, and not just you, myself, and anybody else that's in recovery, those are very, you gotta be in the right headspace to be able to go to these types of things. These concerts, and the type of concert that you went to was more
we might as well share about it, huh?
It was like a rave almost, right?
So I went and I saw Excision.
Okay.
And yeah, it was at a, I don't know what kind of venue that is. It was a nice venue down in Wynwood, Miami, which is the art district.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like sketchy by any means. However, it is electronic music, EDM. And I'll be straight up with you, dude. There was some people there that were messed up, dude. But here's the interesting thing. It's been 11 years since I've gone to something like that. I went to Sunset Music Festival over in Tampa when I had 3 years of sobriety and had a good time, dude. But at that point decided like, no, I'm never doing, and that was a 2-day thing. I'm like, oh, it was too much. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. This was a few hours. It was from 9 to 2 and I didn't get there till like 10:30, 11 because I knew like I wanted to nap before and, getting old. I'm like, I'm gonna be out till
You
2
wanted to nap, so it started at 9 at night till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
But you needed to take a nap before going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, where was I going with this? But I haven't been anything like that in 11 years. I'll say this, dude. Like, I would not recommend an early recovery going to something like that. But I'm in a place where, in my sobriety, like, I literally looked at these people that were all messed up, dude, and I felt really bad for them. Like, I was like, in my stomach, like, repulsed.
Yeah.
Like, dude, thank God that is not me. Where me, if I didn't have a good program, I was in early recovery, I would have been like, oh, I want what they're doing. But, dude, I was so turned off by it. Like, there was this one Asian kid next to us that I just couldn't stop looking at him. His eyes were, like, going in different directions. And I was just like, dude, that does not look fun. And then when it's over, then what? Like, I'm going to sleep. That dude was probably couldn't sleep for the next 24 hours, just miserable, feeling like crap. And it's like, there's nothing to glorify.
Were there a lot of people?
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty big venue, but
yeah,
it's hard to say how many. But there was definitely I'll throw it out there. There was people there that I guarantee you there was other sober people there for sure. And I went with other sober people.
Right.
Gio from Agape goes to the stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you got to be in the right headspace for sure. So what are some things that you're going to do for 2025, Ben? So bodybuilding, are you doing a show this year?
Yeah. So the plan was at the beginning of December, I'm on a mini cut right now. Billy and I are going to figure out in the first half of January whether or not I'm put on enough muscle to compete again and jump into a prep and pick a show and go, or if I need to like bulk back up. Can you tell I've lost weight?
Yeah.
I'm down to 208.
Okay.
My face looks less puffy.
I was looking at some old YouTube videos of us from like 4 years ago. You look like a teenager.
I know, dude. We were so young. I had no gray in my beard.
Yeah. So
what are you doing in 2025?
I want to blow this podcast out of the water, dude. That's what I want to do.
It's got good traction, buddy.
I know.
Just keep plugging.
Yep. I want to definitely focus on that. We're going to be doing some advertising with Mind Pump for the treatment center. That hopefully, does well for us here at Rock. That will also, I think, grow the podcast some organically in and of itself. We had Russell Brand on, and I think we're going to be able to get to do some more stuff with him. I got a sick pair of shoes being made for him.
Really?
Oh, dude, I'll have to show you when I'm done. But yeah, because when he was here that day, he had Jordans on. So I had my Jordan Connect. She does custom Jordans. Like,
you might as well plug her now.
She's on. It's on Instagram as Carly Colors.
I got Weston some custom Minnesota Viking shoes. Was that Christmas 2 years ago? Yeah, she did an amazing job, dude. With had like Justin Jefferson's on them in like good detail. Like,
yeah, she's really good.
She's really good. So if you want some custom shoes,
yeah. If you do want those, just reach out to me and I'll reach out because I don't. It's Carly Colors.
Carly Custom Colors or something like that.
No,
have to find that on IG.
It's
I follow her too.
It's Color Carly, COLOR Carley on Instagram. So you can see some of the work that she does there. But anyways, yeah, she's doing these. But yeah, dude, I mean, just a podcast in the treatment center, you know, for that, just want to continue to grow. Family wise, you know, be more intentional with my kids and Amanda, travel hopefully a little bit this year. We have gymnastics coming, so we're going to be traveling all of February and March, but that's like not really traveling. Orlando.
I thought you had to go to Tennessee and stuff.
Well, we're going to Nashville at the end of January, but that's it. And then Orlando twice, Daytona, Tampa.
What do you mean that's not really travel?
Well, it's all in the state of Florida. I mean, like, you know, I don't know, somewhere.
See, I'm such a homebody, dude. Even going to Miami, I'm like done. Like, I'm like,
yeah. No, I definitely want to do some traveling, or at least I want to plan for like some sort of international thing maybe in 2026. But like take like 3 weeks and just go, you know, maybe Europe somewhere. I have no idea. I could ask Maya. But
Maya would know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think 2025 is going to be a good year for us. Dr. T, I don't know. She's not here, so she can't really speak into what her plans are, but
I would like to know.
Yeah. Well, she'll be here.
She travels a lot.
Yeah.
Where was she this weekend?
Bahamas.
Is that where that was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
she's gone every weekend.
Yeah, she's always somewhere.
I don't know how somebody has the energy to do that.
Well, I mean, she doesn't have any kids. You know?
I guess
she's young.
Maker.
She's 39, 38.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm supposed to publicly say that, but yeah. And she's in better shape than most anybody I know.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So, all right. Well, that's it. Big Book Study, again, starts on January 6th, Monday. Make sure you go to register for that. realrecoverytalk.com/Big Book Study. What else? If you want to work with us, just reach out, info@realrecoverytalk.com. So I've been doing these, more or less meeting with people individually over the last probably 6 months. You know, people can sign up and stuff, but, I'm going to start doing away with that and doing more. I'm reluctant to say coaching, but that's kind of what it is, you know, but I need like commitments because I don't want a lot of people. I just want a handful of people to be able to work with over the course of 90 days, you know, on specific things. And I mean, I'll have more details on that, but that's something that I'm going to be doing. Probably rolling that out towards the end of January. It's going to be expensive, you know, but that's fine. If people want to work with me, they can. I know you're doing something similar, so we'll have more details on that coming up. 2025, Ben, here we go.
Yes, sir.
All right, that is it for this episode of Real Recovery Talk. Thank you for tuning in. In the end, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can always reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. Again, that's info@realrecoverytalk.com. And ultimately, we want to help you turn your mess into your message. That is it. We will see y'all later.